Perfectly Normal, a podcast that brings you love, courage, and connection. And I'm your host, Michelle. I'm a life coach, artist, author, and pharmacist. I'm the founder of Elevate Life Coaching. It's a seminar and coaching company. Let's jump right into the show. Hi, everybody. So there are many factors that affects our motivation in everyday life. So when you wake up in the morning, how enthusiastic are you in getting to work to start your day? Or do you tend to stay in bed longer and just simply like dreading yourself going to work or seeing someone? Or maybe just the fact that you have to get out of the bed is challenging for you. So for me, one of the biggest challenge was the physical aspects of my life in the past. And in 2016, I was really tired of living my life like that, feeling exhausted, tired. I was gaining weight. I was not happy at work, and I kind of felt really burned out. And I was not feeling inspired to be where I was. And I find myself angry all the time. For whatever reason, when people approach me, I'm always really short and I just want to get to things because I'm tired of this. And I read books, I read tons of them. And I listen to podcasts. I watch video, YouTube, and seeing how other people are sharing their success stories on how they become happier and wealthier in their life. But when I look at mine, I have nothing compared to them. Not physically, I was nothing to compare to them. Even in terms of emotional, I was not happy. I was not at peace. So the question I end up asking myself was, why can't I just be normal? Right. And so it goes back to that mentality of what is wrong with me and, oh, there must be something wrong with me, that mentality. And then there comes a change. For whatever reason, and yesterday I was being interviewed by one of the, it's a coach. They're really big known for the coaching magazine and publications. So I did an interview with them, and during the interview, the person who was interviewing me asked me a question in regards to what was that moment that made you feel so inspired and that you wanted to start coaching business and just becoming a life coach? And for me, the answer was that at some point you realize that you have to do something very different. And I've learned that in order for anyone to live the life they want, the life they dream, knowing what you want is not good enough. You have to really put it into actions. Right? So I could be dreaming about traveling to another part of the world, but unless I start taking action by going online, start looking for booking, start looking for my time, when am I going to take this vacation? Until I actually do that, then it's just going to be an idea. And it's the fact that you have to get up and be willing to do something that's very scary, even if that scary thing means getting into your car and just go to the grocery. So in order for any change to happen, you have to get up and do that one thing that makes it different from all your other days. Because if you don't, you will always continue to live in that Groundhog Day. Remember that movie, The Groundhog Day? So every day, can't remember that guy's name. He wake up and every day he's replaying the same routine over and over. And doesn't life feel that like that? Sometimes you just get up, you go to work, and you come home and you eat dinner, you go to sleep, and sure you celebrate birthday events, holidays with your friends and family, but it seems to be a repetition of the same thing. And when it comes to challenge, it's the same challenge every single time. And eventually you get burned out from handling these challenges because they just keep showing up. So every day becomes a challenge. And I remember one of my friends actually used that quote a lot. Every day is a challenge. Well, what if you do something different and you do something that's very scary to you that you've never done before, and you've been thinking about it, do it differently, but you never had the guts to get up and do it. What if you do just that one thing that scares you? What would be different? So one of the biggest influencer, there are actually six, seven different influencers in our life that can affect our energy. So they are physical influencer, they're emotional influencer, they're mental influencer, they're environmental things that's surrounding you, or things that's affecting you in outside of you. They can all create a lot of energy blocks. And when something is not going well around you, chances are you're not going to have that positivity within you, no matter how hard you try, right? So it's about addressing, what is the problem on these influencers, and until you can address them, chances are you will always goes back into that repetition of, oh, things are not working out, it's challenging, and why am I seeing this problem every single time? So for me, one of the biggest challenge was in my transformation was the physical influencer, right? I was extremely unhappy about the way I look. I didn't like my pictures to be taken, to be honest, and I I couldn't look at myself into the mirror because I felt really ashamed about my own body. And so some something happened in 2016, and that created a big impact in my life, and it was by overcoming that physical influencer. So what I did in 2016 was I did something really great and scary, and that was out of really ordinary in my life, and which counts really towards my personal triumph. So I was really tired of myself, being tired about myself. So I came up with a goal in my mind. You know what? All my friends had hiked Machu Picchu, the Inca Trail. I'm going to set that as my goal, and I'm going to hike that Inca Trail. So in September 2016, that's exactly what I did. I hiked the Inca Trail, and it was 4 day trail. It was total of 26 miles, which is 42 kilometer. And I remember walking up with my two pink, it was hot pink, fusion pink arm crutches. I was doing push up after push up, and each step at the Inca Trail, for those of you who have hiked that trail, you probably remember, some of the steps, because it's such an ancient historical site. Some of the steps are really high. It was higher than the length of my leg. So many times I have to get on my hands and knees, and I would have to crawl up on each steps. So what I did was I threw my crutches up, and then if I'm going climbing up, then I threw my crutches up first, and then push myself up. Once I get up and I do it again. I kept repeating the same process, and I just crawl up the stairs. Um, and coming down was not any easy, because some of the stone steps are really slippery. And I got lucky because when I went, it wasn't a rain season, so we didn't have a lot of rain. And when it rained, those stone steps actually become very slippery. So you can imagine it's really hard to land those crutches onto the slippery surface, which I got really lucky, and thanks to the universe, because when you put your energy in doing something, the universe always has your back, right? And that's about the trusting the process. So the energy had my back, so the universe had my back, and then so I didn't get rained out during that trip a lot, and I was able to make it through the whole entire trip. And I was really glad, even though I have to get up very early in the morning every day for that 4 day in order to be able to catch up with all my other teammates. So when generally the itinerary is that you probably get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So for me, since I have to do all the climbing and all the walking, I end up waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's still dark. I put on my headlight, and then I start climbing. So, and this is what I wrote in my book, Perfectly Normal and Immigrant Stories of Making It America. And what I wrote was that every day we make choices to do or not do certain things. And these choices have effect that makes our lives more fulfilled or less fulfilling, more balanced or less balanced. Our process of living more effective or less effective. I could have chosen my life in regret, resentment, disappointment, or struggle. Or I could choose to live my life with calm, clarity, confidence, love, and fulfillment. So, my question to you is this: if you want a different life, then what would you do differently so that it would be different for you? Right? So that's your challenge this week. And hopefully you'll give it some thoughts. And if you like, please do share your comments with me. You can always find me on my website, elevatelifecoaching.org, or you can send me an email at michelle.kui, Kui, @gmail.com. And I will see you next week. Hey, thanks for joining me this week on Perfectly Normal. Make sure to visit my website at elevatelifecoaching.org. And if you found values in this show, I appreciate a rating on iTunes and Spotify. Or you can simply tell a friend about the show. That would really help me too. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. And be sure to tune in next week for our next episode.